Hello, and welcome back to the TV Cast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them. No, we talk about TV shows and streaming shows.
Yes.
However, this is a spin-off of our original show, The Spoiler Cast, where we do talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them.
Yes.
Check that out on the very same channel wherever you're listening to this. But this is a TV Cast. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusty co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And in this episode, we are continuing our exploration of True Detective Night Country. Specifically, we're going to talk about episode 2. It has no catchy title, it's just chapter 2, I suppose.
Part 2.
Or even part 2, yeah, part 2.
Even worse.
Yes! No cool names like The Long Bright Dark or Seeing Things or what was it called? Western Book of the Dead, which is the first episode of the second season. But whatever.
My cat just fell off the couch.
Yep. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you would have seen that cat fall off the couch.
Probably.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this on Apple Podcast or anywhere like that, you can check us out on youtube.com/ I think it's Don't Make a Scene. Yeah, and you can actually watch this because we are a legitimate video podcast nowadays. But that's beside the point.
Yes.
Let's get into episode 2 of True Detective Night Country.
Yes.
It continues pretty much starts off right where the first episode ended. Yes. With Danvers and Navarro finding the supposedly frozen dead bodies of the Solal Station researchers or scientists.
Yeah. Human icicle or whatever.
Yeah, the corpsicle, as they call it.
Corpsicle, that's
which I think might be, this is really reaching, but it might be a reference to the movie Event Horizon. Where, they don't say corpsicle in that movie, but there is a famous shot of a frozen body in Zero G, that when they turn on the gravity, it falls to the ground and just shatters, because it's ice.
Yeah.
And that shot, that character, so to speak, is referred to by fans as the corpsicle. Long shot, I know, but this movie does reference The Thing, which was a big inspiration among other movies for Event Horizon. So, yeah. I don't know. They like to throw in little Easter eggs in this dumb show. So, yeah. I don't know. Speaking of Easter eggs, we're going to talk a lot about those in this one. Jesus,
yes.
More than just Easter eggs. But let's go through the plot a little bit first. So,
yes.
Yeah, they find them all frozen together, almost like in a what's it called? Snake pile? Whatever you call it? Yeah. And as they start cutting them out, one of them seems to be alive. One of them starts screaming.
Yes.
Yeah, which really gives you the Thing vibes.
Yeah, they did a weird cut there to like Danvers walking in a school and talking on the phone, and the only hint we get is like, oh yeah, he's in a coma because they need to amputate something, and he needs surgery. Yeah. And my mind had to go like 10 laps before I realized, they're talking about the dude who screamed in the icicle. Yeah.
No, so one of them is still alive somehow. Well, I think I have an idea why he's still alive, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Sure.
They hint at it more later. Yeah, so this episode is really nothing other than them finding the corpses really happens here. I mean, there are no like big revelations.
No.
There's no big shootout or anything. There are
there are some character development, I suppose, or at least background development.
Yeah.
They're not very character-ish, but they're about characters, so
yeah.
It's very circumstantial.
Yeah, and it's not character stuff that really, it builds on the backstory. Doesn't really inform us about the characters. I mean, a little bit, and it doesn't really tie to the main plot too much. There is some. Yeah. This is classic TV show writing. It's And I'll just give you this if it sounds a little staged. What I'm saying, this is the second time we're recording this because my computer crapped out on me, so we lost the original recording, which was like half an hour in. We just like, oh shit, I lost everything. Hello,
God damn it.
Yeah, no, but this episode is more like we talked about in the first episode, more classic TV show writing, where they're drip feeding you information to keep you engaged.
I did have an idea or a thought this morning as I was commuting to the office. Because I always read when I commute. So I always read my book. And you know what episodes of a TV show is? They're chapters in a book.
Yeah. I guess.
They're supposed to have cliffhangers, and they're supposed to be drip feeding you information because they can't tell you everything at once, because then it would be just one long episode. Hey, a movie. Or it would be one long text, a book without chapters, which would be absolutely horrific to try and read.
Yeah, I know. I see what you mean, and I guess that's why I don't like TV shows. It's kind of funny since we have a podcast about it, and it's funny because I used to love reading. I don't read a lot nowadays. I struggle to get through like one book. I read 2 books last year. I used to read like at least one a month before. But nowadays I don't. I think I don't like that way of storytelling.
Or maybe you've become addicted to the fast whatever. You can't focus for that long.
Yeah.
So you only watch short content kind of thing.
That's also a funny thing, because I've had this discussion before with other friends about like movies versus TV shows, and how it's like
had that discussion.
Yeah, and like how I always say like, oh yeah, people like TV shows because it's easier to watch like in 40-minute bits than in like sitting down for 2.5 hours to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of paradoxical, because in one way, I like my stories to be shorter than, I suppose, like 2 hours instead of 10 hours or more.
Yes.
But at the same time,
you want it condensed into those 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like people
want to get everything.
People can sit down for 10 hours and watch 10 episodes of a show, but they can't sit down for 3 hours and watch a movie, or 2 hours even and watch a movie.
Like we mentioned in part 1 of this, I binge watched the entire season 1 while working. So 8 hours of pure content.
Yeah. But then people are like, I can't sit down and watch a movie. Oh no, but you can spend an entire day watching one TV show. So yeah,
I can do both though.
Sure, but I know a lot of people are like, I hate movies, but I watch. And I think that more. If I'm gonna try to explain that, I think it's more like people need to be that it is honestly like people like TV shows have a smaller attention span, a shorter attention span, because every 40 minutes, there is a big moment before the next episode starts.
Yeah.
While in a movie, you might have to wait until the end for the big reveal or the big twist.
And even though you have these like cliffhangers that make you want to watch the next episode, it's a perfect place to stop for a while.
And also, usually since you have more hours in a TV show, they often don't tell just one story. It's often several characters with several stories that intertwine and connect instead of just telling one story. I think that is my main problem with TV shows. I just think like it's unfocused. And I mean, there's so many TV shows where they literally just abandon certain storylines. Like I saw a video a while ago. I know this is going on. We're on a tangent here. Sorry.
Should be talking about the episode, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry. We'll get to it soon. I know people usually turn off at this point, but we'll get to it. I promise. Like I saw a video just randomly. I clicked a video about like abandoned story threads in Game of Thrones. And that goes like through the entire series, like 7 seasons or whatever it was.
I think I've seen another video or one video about that as well.
Yeah, and there's so many storylines that they just abandon. And it's just like, but how can you just, you have to,
What
you have to
happened?
tell the story? It's like, no, we're going to focus on this now. And that is also like, just like, it's the story version of ADHD. Like, no, I'm done with that. We're going to talk about this now, whatever.
It's also a little bit of like if you have a main character,
Yeah.
if they meet a person along the way, they'll just get a part of their story. They'll never get the end.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some sort of logic to not having the end to all stories unless it pertains to the main character.
Yeah. But all great stories have a beginning, middle, and end, you know.
Sure, but you might not experience them because you're the main character of your story, not their story.
Sure.
But yes, it's a cop-out because when you're making a TV show or a movie, you are in control of the narrative.
Yeah.
You are in control of the story, and you can choose to finish a storyline or not. And choosing to include one that you won't finish just sounds stupid. Because you're in such control. You're God when you're writing.
Yeah. Now, this is only going to be, I think, or I hope, it's only going to be one season, and in this case, 6 episodes of a story. So I don't think they're going to abandon storylines.
No.
There
might be details that aren't explained,
yeah.
though, unfortunately.
I want to know where they're going with Pryor's Russian mail-order bride. What's the point of introducing that?
Yes.
Because so far it's
and
gone
her
nowhere.
Asking for money.
yeah.
I want to make sure that they explain the polar bear with one eye.
Yes.
That it's not just some vision or something.
It's
or
been
like
referenced
local
3 times now, yeah. But let's get into the story a bit more, or the plot of the episode. But like I said, not a lot more actually happens, like plot wise.
No. They get some information.
Yeah, sure.
About Salal, what they're researching, about who's funding it. Which happens to be
Tuttle Industries?
United or something?
Tuttle United, yeah.
Something like that.
Which is a
callback to season 1.
Yeah, the second callback, technically. They mentioned the name Cole before that. But yeah, in short succession, we have 2 references to season 1.
That's one of my notes I made, actually. Because I kept hearing in discussions about the episode that Rose mentions that Travis's last name is Cole. I'm like, but when does she mention it? I had to look it up. It's at
she's talking to Navarro.
7 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah,
into the episode, she says the last gift I got from Travis Cole was meeting you.
Yeah, exactly. It's when they're talking about what they did before he killed himself on the ice.
Yeah.
The
croissants. And the singing and
danced a little, fucked a little.
Yeah.
We ate the croissants. Yeah. That's the last gift I got from Travis Cole, and my eyes just rolled so far back I could look at my brain. It's like, no!
I still don't think, because there is one big thing that makes them not the same, but it could also be a exaggeration or a lie on season 1, but I don't know why they would like play it off that way, because in season 1. Rust Cole says his father dies from bone cancer, right?
I don't remember, but sure, yeah.
I believe it's that. Someone said that, and I think he didn't say leukemia at least.
No, but so cancer.
And in this season, it's leukemia that kills Travis Cole. I mean, Travis Cole is not an unusual name. There are, someone said there's like 7 billion people. No, not 7 billion.
No, then everyone.
So many people in Alaska. There's so many people in Alaska. Like, at least one other person could be named Travis.
Yeah, but why?
It's stupid to include that unless it has a connection to the first season.
Do you honestly think they're not related?
No. Like, I honestly think they are related.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I was like, wait, does she mean...
However, they might be like cousins or something.
Yeah, but that still connects season 1 to season 4.
I did listen to HBO Max's official podcast before this.
Of course, we are the unofficial Night Country podcast, which is better.
And Issa López mentions that she is or was heavily inspired by season 1.
Yeah.
She doesn't mention, unless I missed it, but she doesn't mention that there is a direct connection between Travis and Rust. I was about to say Rusty. I'm not allowed to say that.
Rusty.
But she did say that she was heavily influenced. were inspired by that season because it is the best season.
Yeah.
And she wanted to make a female counterpart to that season, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which I can, kind of get. It's a bit far-fetched, and I still don't understand why you need to include such direct links to the first season.
Yeah. Yeah,
I fully understand being inspired.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
You can still be inspired. It doesn't have to mean it takes place in the same universe,
Exactly. Unless, like we said before, unless that is a common thing between all of the seasons, that they are in the same universe or whatever. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, speaking of that, yesterday when we first recorded this, I had not watched season 2. Today I had a day off from work. So I
You've watched all of season 2?
Didn't watch all of season 2, but I did watch the first 5 out of 8 episodes. So, and that was the first time I managed to get that far. I looked at my what I'd watched before, and I think I'd watched 2.5 episodes before this, and then given up every time.
Okay.
And as far as I can tell, I'm sure I have 3 episodes left. There is no connection between season 1 and 2, at least.
There's no hinting at them being in the same universe. There's no hinting at them having any other connection.
No. There was one Lone Star reference, Lone Star beer, and I was like, but, but it was a sign in a bar, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's just a fucking brand, though, to be fair.
And that is...
To call that an...
That is
like
what. That is what.
Is dumb.
No, it's not a connection. That is what an Easter egg should be. Oh look,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, your cat has creepy glowing eyes in the background.
Yeah, she's.
Jesus.
She's staring at us.
Anyway.
Hey! She looked like Travis's eyes when he was on the ice dancing.
Oh yeah,
that's
true.
He pointed out and my other cat is freaking out. He's chasing his tail.
That is also one thing that I think. Well, I guess now it doesn't really say that. Oh, it is his father, but he definitely looks older, and he is. And I'm guessing a ghost doesn't age, so he was that old, like what 10, 15 years ago, or even more now, when that character supposedly died in the first season.
Yeah. A lot of people have pointed out that they have similar features, as in being tall and skinny, and
they have
the long ratty hair.
Yeah, exactly.
The bald spot.
Yeah.
Coming in.
So, I'm pretty sure this is dad.
Yes. Someone speculated?
Speculated, yeah.
Yeah, speculated that Rust Cole might make an appearance in this season, and I hope to God not.
That's where I really hope they don't go that far. Like, oh, we gotta, because obviously now there is also a connection, or I guess it has to be a connection to the whole Yellow King Carcosa, cult thing.
Yes.
Because of the symbol that we've now seen. They hinted at the symbol in the first episode. Now we've fully seen it. The spiral thing. Which was on Dora Lang's body in the first, and was kind of a symbol for the killer, whatever his name was. I forget.
It has to do with the time is a disc, and has to do with the other plane that Carcosa is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Didn't fully understand that, but yeah.
And
also wasn't it like in the first episode? I don't think we mentioned it. It starts off with a quote.
Oh
which happens to be from a fictional character from a story that is like involved in the Carcosa stories.
Oh, it is?
Apparently. Yeah. Someone mentioned. I didn't look it up, to be fair, but...
Let me see...
Which then also would, hint at them being connected.
It's by a fictional character? I just thought it was like some quote they used.
Yeah, no, it's apparently from a fictional character in... like a Lovecraftian story or something. Maybe not Lovecraft specifically, but that has to do with the...
It's, for we do not know what beasts the night dreams when its hours grow too long, for even God to be awake. By Hildred Castaigne?
Yeah, something, yeah.
Hildred Castaigne.
Which is apparently a fictional character.
When you Google it, you get the first thing that pops up is a Wikipedia page for The Repairer of Reputations, which is a short story published by Robert W. Chambers in the collection The King in Yellow.
Yes, right. That's
Yeah.
So there's a connection that way too.
Yeah.
Which feels a little bit stupid.
And if you just
unless you've read that book or you actually Google the quote, you're not gonna find that.
No, but it is fitting like that. You know, the darkness reveals.
Yes.
Monsters and beasts, like because
Sure.
It's so dark that even God can't stay awake. You know, that's when the really bad shit shows up.
There has to be a quote from an actual real person, not a fictional person, that works just as well.
Yeah, but it is a quote. Yeah, it's a quote from a fictional person, but it is written by a real author. Sure. I think it works. Here's actually, I just looked up. Of course, Screen Rant has an entire article about it. That came out like the day after the first episode.
Yes, I listened a little bit to their episode on episode 2.
Yeah. Here it says, True Detective makes up a quote from Hildred Castaigne, who is from The King in Yellow. But with a sinister warning attributed to Hildred Castaigne declaring blah, 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 got to be awake. Castaigne is a fictional protagonist of Robert W. Chambers' The King in Yellow, a work referenced throughout True Detective Season 1, yeah. Such an explicit callback clearly establishes a link between the two stories, whatever their other differences. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at this point, you can't really deny it then.
No.
And that is worrying. That is truly worrying. Because I really don't want them to be that connected.
No.
Because then I can say this, I still don't think this is a great show. Season 2. I think or season 4, sorry.
Season 2 either.
No. Season 4, episode 2 was better than the first episode, I think, even though less happens. Especially with what's her name, Callie Rice. Navarro, yeah.
Oh, by the way, they explain in the podcast that Navarro is I wrote it down. She is Inuit and Dominican.
Oh, okay.
So she is native, but her father is Dominican.
Oh, so okay. So
that's
she has
why
a connection,
she's up
but
there.
she maybe didn't grow up here or something.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Her mother is
that makes sense
from
because
here, and that's why they came back.
Yeah, her sister does have the what was it called? Something. The little drawings on your face. Yeah. Okay. We were in the first episode. We were
unsure.
Unsure. Yeah, because Navarro is a very Latin American, like Spanish sounding name, Mexican name.
Yes.
Anyway. She. I think she does a better job in this episode. She felt very, very stiff. I know that's kind of part of her character, but she seemed a lot more. It felt more natural in this episode.
Yes.
Her conversations with people. She wasn't so fucking like.
I think it's because she got more normal things to say, basically. She's having more of a conversation with Rose. She's having more of a conversation with Danvers. It's not just going through clues or whatever. It's actually talking about people. It's having her like she thinks back on when she was trained by Danvers and the whole that wasn't the right question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need to ask the right question. It opens her up as a character because she gets time to reflect on things more than just stating things.
Sure. Yeah.
Also, side note on Callie Reyes, she is I didn't write down exactly what, but she is also half Native American.
Oh, okay.
So it's a representation, which is good because it's always nice to have correct people playing these kinds of characters.
Sure.
Because it's very specific.
Yeah, in this case, very specific.
Yeah.
But then I'm wondering, like, maybe they shaped the
casted her because of her.
Yeah.
Maybe not entirely.
Because if the original like scripted character was actually like half Dominican, half Native American, like what are the odds you're gonna find that person that is also an actress and is also good enough to be in the show?
Yeah, but apparently, like Issa Reyes wrote the characters before sending it out. It seemed like because she sent it to what's her name? Jodie Foster wanting to have her specifically as Liz Danvers, but she didn't expect her to accept it because she was inspired by her character in Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Apparently. It's like a long shot because she's like, I was inspired by season 1, which was inspired by 7, which was inspired by Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. But
which made her look at all of those three references and then go, I want Jodie Foster to play Liz.
But Danvers is very different from Starling, I would say. I don't know if you remember. She's just
inspired. It's not sure. Like...
But what is the inspiration?
I'm not sure.
Other than Jodie Foster being a police person or detective?
It's a combination. I don't know. She didn't get deep into it.
No. It just says like, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like the fucking gobbledygook you could just throw out when you're doing press for your fucking show. Like, we're inspired by one of the most acclaimed movies of our time. Yes, that's what.
Just
that's
like
what we
the strong female cop
Yeah.
that takes no bullshit.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the entire inspiration. And then she goes, "Hey, Jodie Foster's a really good actress. She can play that role, but even badder.
Yeah,
let's do that."
Because
they all call her an asshole though. Like,
yeah, she is an asshole, especially in this episode. That's also something. It feels so stilted now. We're trying to not recreate, but try to talk about it naturally. Now we already done it yesterday.
Mentioned a few things we didn't mention yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
no, definitely. But now I'm trying to like get back to those points that I made in the first time. It's like, I don't like the characters that much, to be honest.
No,
and not in the way that. And also, I don't want to reference the first season too much. I want to like.
Step aside.
Review this on its own terms. But I just, because like, in the first season, they're not like good people, Cole and Marty, whatever his name is. Marty Hart. Rusty and Marty. Yeah. Chip and Dale.
They're always going to be Rusty and Marty in my head.
They're not like good people.
No.
Like they're assholes, misogynistic, slightly racist here and there. But you kind of, they're fascinating. Well, I guess Rust more than Marty really.
Marty isn't very fascinating.
No.
He's pretty much standard male.
He becomes fascinating towards the end.
I don't know if I'd call him fascinating.
No, not fascinating, but he develops, definitely develops when the proper like 2012 stuff starts happening. And so far, like, I know it's only 2 episodes in, so I'm judging an entire season versus 2 episodes here. Yeah, I know, same thing as I did last time.
Yes.
But I just don't find the characters that compelling here.
No.
Navarro and Danvers.
Agree. There's definitely stuff that builds up the characters, but there's no like in season 1. Yes, we are comparing. Obviously, there's no philosophical discussions.
Yeah, which
there's
instantly
no talking
draws
about
you into him as a
religion
character.
Or, huh?
That's what instantly draws you into that character. His pessimism and his like.
All those weird
atheism.
Quotes about how humans are the pests of the world, which I mean, it's
just one big gutter man floating through space. Yeah, stuff like that.
It's a very pretentious, very anti-everything.
Yeah.
Quotes, and it would be strange if they wrote a similarly. I don't know how to explain it. Extra character?
Yeah, sure.
Like, because he is very extra.
Yes.
Rust is extra.
Yeah, he is.
In today's society. He's borderline kooky.
Yeah. I mean, he was 10 years ago as well when the show came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that you don't want to make another character that is just like that. You want to have a little bit of your own character.
Yeah.
Obviously. But you could have had, like, give one of them something more, something deeper. There's no depth to them yet.
No, instead we just have
shallow affairs. There's shallow family issues. There's shallow, like, there's a shallow past between them that they can't work together really. But they've obviously worked together very closely because Danvers knows where Navarro used to keep her cans in her kitchen.
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Did you switch? Did you move them?" It's like, yeah, it's over there. That is such a small detail that just tells us, okay, yeah, they had a very close relationship at one point.
Yeah.
And something happened. Do we care what happened? Not really.
And that's where, like, since this is supposed to be a season of True Detective, what really informs the characters, at least in the first and second season, third season, I guess there's only really one protagonist. I don't know if he has a partner or something, because, like I said, I've only watched, like, first episode of that. But both in the first season and second season, the detectives from the title, True Detective, they all meet for the first time, more or less, when the show starts.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Rust and Marty had only worked for a few months. They really didn't get to know each other at all.
They haven't had a case together.
Not a big case together. But like I said, it was a couple of cases, open and shut. Nothing where you have to, like, work hard together like they do with this.
Not even sure they did those cases together.
No, they worked together. You're always partnered up.
Okay.
You're always, as cops, That's why I always talk about partner. And in season 2, I mean, they meet each other for the first time when they find Ben Casper. Oh, you haven't watched it. Sorry.
I have no clue.
The guy whose murder they are investigating.
Okay, so then when they find the victim.
Yeah. In the first episode, they meet up. And they're all from different, like, precincts, different agencies even, or parts of the police force. And they get put on this special, like, task force together. And, and it is through them getting to know each other, we get to know them as characters. Here it is this hinting at a past, and instead of them getting to know each other, therefore we getting to know them, we get to know them separately from each other in flashbacks, which I think is it's a worse way of revealing your characters, I think.
Yes, because it doesn't give us
tropey.
The when you have two characters meeting for the first time, the audience can reflect both of those characters and getting to know each other.
Yeah, it's more natural that they would actually get to know each other, talk about it. Yeah, exactly.
When you have two characters who show up in the beginning of the show or the story already knowing each other, the audience becomes a third member, becomes the audience.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to look at them to try and figure out how they know each other and what the relationship is.
And you would have to do, like,
not told.
Exactly. You would have to do, like, exposition dumps, which is
it's
not as subtle. It's not as
no, and I mean
graceful.
You can do them in a good way,
of course.
But so far we've had so little exposition on their background together that we kind of expect that there will be a dump soon. Otherwise, we will just be lost forever. And I mean, we're almost halfway through the season. They have to tell us what happened. What was the I want to say Williams or Wilson case or whatever.
Annie K. Right.
There's another case.
Oh yeah, we talked about that as well. I should have rewatched the episode since I had the time. I don't know where that comes from. The Williams case?
Wilson, I think. I'm not entirely sure.
I must have blacked out because I do not remember that. You said it was just like
it's
a blink
just
and you miss
a throwaway comment. Yeah, it's something about the Wilson case. I want to say it's a car crash, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm mixing up Danvers' flashback to, like, when her husband and kid died.
Yeah, because I was looking.
I'm pretty sure there's a Wilson case.
I had the episode on yesterday while we were recording, and I got through like 30, 40 minutes of it. Sure, I was just having it on in the background, but they didn't see anything about any other case than Salal Station and Annie Kotak, Annie K. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure. I that's my mind went, yes.
And there was that video you watched from Think Story, or whatever it was.
Oh, right.
And he mentioned it.
Think Story. He mentioned the Wilson case as well.
And
I went, yeah, I heard that somewhere, and then I didn't check it up. And I'm not gonna now. It's probably not important, or we'll learn more about it in the next episode. Yeah. So, I mean, whatever.
Sure.
We're not supposed... That's the thing, though, because we mentioned that when we tried to record yesterday. Yeah. Think Story specifically on YouTube, but also Screen Rant and a lot of other people who make videos on this, they overanalyze. And I think that is... You should not have to overanalyze to get the full story or even to try and figure out stuff beforehand, because you're not supposed to. Yeah,
you're supposed to experience it while you're watching it. Yeah,
as it moves along. There's the whole, like, Think Story paused and read the articles on the computer screens and the walls.
They were
of the Solar
referencing
Station.
to magnetic polar shifts.
Yeah.
And
sure, they talk about stuff like that as well, and there's imagery of that in the school when Danvers interviews or talks to the teacher.
They talk about the Earth's core.
Yes, so sure, there is obviously, and there's drawings of that, of the two black eyes with lots of circles around it in Clark's notes and in the trailer.
Yeah.
But there's nothing yet that we should have to consider, really. They should be when they talk about later, going, we've seen that before.
Yeah.
Not that's what that meant.
Yeah, and that's something that this whole video essay, I mean, people have always overanalyzed stuff.
Sure.
But it's so much more in the mainstream, in the zeitgeist nowadays, with video essays and people watching way too much TV and honestly Easter eggs being more prevalent, or little clues being prevalent in media, which is kind of it's a chicken and the egg. It feels like Easter eggs became more popular because more people were actually looking for Easter eggs. So the people writing shows started stuffing it in there, and she's like, "No, you're just feeding this autistic, breakdown, kind of ruining shows. You shouldn't do that."
No,
it
because it takes away from the enjoyment of the show, of just watching and letting the story unfold in front of you.
Although some people would say that, well, some people do enjoy picking it apart and trying to figure out the ending before we've even got halfway through the show. But I'm like,
but then you get stupid things I think it was Screen Rant who mentioned, in that shot where Danvers is interviewing the teacher or talking to the teacher, on one of the lower corners of the whiteboard, there's a smiley face with pointy ears.
Yeah,
which is just a weird symbol that, unless it has a point, shouldn't really be there because it looks like a kid's drawing on a whiteboard.
No.
But at the same time, it could just be, it's a young classroom. Obviously the kids are going to be silly and draw stupid things on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
But no, Screen Rant went ahead and went, this could be a reference to the horns in season 1 and, the horns on the yellow king or whatever. Yeah, but it also looks like Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a smiley face.
And that's...
who cares?
That's that's where you that's where I think that overanalyzing things ruins it.
Yeah, because then you start thinking but why would the production team put it there unless it actually has a point? Sometimes shit is just there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's supposed to be a natural environment.
Not everything has to be an Easter egg or a clue or exactly. But at the same time,
like I said, silly kids will draw on a whiteboard if the teacher's not looking.
Yeah. And
the teacher won't erase it unless they need that space on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
I just heard a bang in my kitchen. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't like that kind of overanalyzing. But like you said, there is a lot of hints.
Sure.
In the show.
Let them be hints.
Yeah.
Don't let them be clues that you will have to piece together before you watch the last episode. I mean, they even go so far as to look at the trailer, rewatch the trailer every time they've seen an episode to see if they can notice details that will explain.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Yeah.
Just watch the show.
Yeah.
I want to know more about Liz Danvers' family. What happened to her husband and the kid? That the kid that played with the one-eyed polar bear, is that connected to the one-eyed polar bear? Did the polar bear cause the car accident? Because it looks like a car accident at one point, or was that car accident something from Liz Danvers' youth? Did her parents die in a car accident? Because there is a car accident. She's stepping in glass.
Yeah, when she steps in glass in the first episode, when there's a car accident, she is instantly transported to a flashback where I think you see a child's leg stepping on glass, right?
Yeah, it could be her. It could be her son.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was something that happened in her.
What's the other kid? Leia.
Right.
Her adoptive daughter. They have the same last name though. Is Leia her husband's previous marriage child thing?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was married or was at least in a relationship with Leia's father. And when he died, I guess in a car accident maybe, she decided to yeah, of course, take care of Leia because she was
because Leia's
child.
mother is most likely not in the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
And Leia seemed to be related to Peter Pryor's baby mama, girlfriend, wife. I don't know if they're married.
Yeah, which I was so confused
they
by.
all seem so close knit somehow, but maybe it's just community.
Yeah, I was really confused by that because in the first episode, I thought because young Pryor, whatever his name is,
Peter.
Yeah, Peter. He looks like he's like 17. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
he works
I know.
as a
He's
cop, so he's
obviously
at least in his
25
like,
or
20s.
something.
Yeah, but he looks so young.
Yes.
So it felt like he was like visiting his girlfriend as she was taking care. She was babysitting someone else's kid.
Yes.
But then in this episode, that's his kid.
It is his kid. Yeah.
They have a child together.
Darwin is their child.
Right? Yeah.
And he wants to be a better father to Darwin than Hank was to him.
Right.
Hank, who slapped his son because he stole evidence that belongs to the police station.
We saw that in the first episode.
But it happens to be in Hank's house because of an apparent flood. Why would you be mad that he took that one specific box unless you want to hide something that's in that box? Though?
Yeah, there's either that or the fact that Danvers wanted it and Hank didn't want to give it to her.
Yeah, and Hank doesn't really like Danvers.
No. Which,
like, you're supposed to be respectful to your dad, not
which seems
not your,
petty, but...
Yeah.
Which is also... Now that is like, so is there something between Hank and Danvers?
Do they have history?
Is there something he's hiding in that Annie K case? Like...
The unprofessionalism of all the other cops, because the scene, the opening scene in episode 2...
Yeah. They're taking
of them
selfies,
taking selfies
with the corpse skull.
That is just... They quoted that, like, her reaction to that as when she's an awful person. No, she wasn't awful there. They were awful.
Yeah.
She was
doing her job.
A decent human being, actually, because you should not take selfies with dead people, no matter how strange their death was.
Yeah.
That is just...
Come on.
Awful of you.
It's not very professional at all.
No, and it's just... As a human being, you're just being an awful human being, literally. Like, leave the dead alone, unless you're trying to help them.
Yeah.
But the entire, like, and him going, oh, they're just blowing off steam. That comment, and then him being very tight about the evidence box, just makes me think that, yes, he's obviously a corrupt cop. I'm not entirely sure he has had a lot to do with the case, the Annie K case, but maybe he just hid something or didn't include something or,
But now we have the problem there. That is like its own little separate story then. And it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if it leads somewhere, it just means we have another story thread, which I think is too many.
I mean, it is technically connected, though. Annie K is like the center point right now.
Yeah.
Because her death is connected to the mining, which is connected to the bad water, which I'm assuming is connected to everyone's fucking hallucinations in general and just weird moods and sickness and all that. And Annie K was together with
Clark.
Whatever his name was, Clark.
By the way, it's another reference to The Thing. Because the dog wrangler in The Thing is called Clark.
Oh.
And he actually looks kind of like him.
Though.
Yeah, I know, but come on.
Okay.
But once again, you picked that
Clark,
name.
by the way.
You picked that name for a polar research station guy.
Sure.
Yeah. So, just saying. Anyway.
By the way, the guy who plays Clark,
yeah,
he reminds me of someone, but we see him so quickly every time that I can't really... Now I can't find him in the cast list.
I'm not sure if I recognize him.
Raymond Clark. There he is. Owen McDonnell. Maybe he just looked like someone to me. Yeah, he just looked like someone. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, Annie K was involved with Clark. And he is obviously the one who's gone crazy and did something, because he's not in the corpsicle.
No, exactly. He's the one missing, they find out. Yeah.
He's the one missing, yeah. And he was the one who freaked out in the video in the first episode when the Italian was making... Yeah, and like shaking and whatever. He's apparently crazy in general because he walks around naked and cries all the time.
Yeah, right. And here also...
And he bought that trailer 7 years ago to have as a love nest or whatever with Annie.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of random stuff, obviously, but they all kind of lead back to Annie somehow and her death.
Yeah.
So she will be the main core of the mystery, I guess.
Sure.
One way or another.
Sure. But that's also something we should discuss, because there was a lot of once again, this feels so stilted, but there was a lot of like supernatural hints in the first episode. There's of course the ghost revealing the location of the missing scientists. Yeah. There's the one-eyed polar bear. People talking about ghosts in general.
Yeah.
And
the delivery man talks about, people see things here in Ennis.
Yeah, but that's the second. Yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more hints in the second episode. Yeah, and we talked about that. Like, there was of course supernatural overtones in the first season. Like, there's very, very inspired by Lovecraft and everything. Yeah,
they believe in another plane where you can like ascend to, and where there's a Yellow King who can, I don't know, save you or whatever.
In the end, though, it is just like people.
Religion. Basically.
Yeah, religion. There's bad people.
Yeah,
like say, man is the worst monster.
Yeah.
And as far as I got in season 2, there's no supernatural references at all, basically.
Okay.
Other than the name Western Book of the Dead for the first episode, and I don't know what they're getting at.
That's probably referencing something, though.
Probably, yeah.
Where does that take place?
California, so the West Coast.
California, yeah.
Where was I going with that? Yes.
I'm not sure.
No, but here it is very clearly, they were hinting at supernatural stuff, but the ghost did help to find the missing people, and now it is and the whole she's awake stuff. Everyone talking about she's awake, and you hear people.
Yeah.
And now it feels like it's just overtly like ghosts are real, like supernatural things happen. I mean, Navarro magically finds her mother's necklace in her car, and it's not a vision, because she physically picks it up, physically throws it out so it lands on the literal ground.
I had a theory about finding the necklace, though, because before that she goes shopping with her sister, and I'm thinking the sister just dumped it in the car for some reason. Which, however, like it's assumptions, you should never have to do assumptions.
that's another story thread. Why would her sister try to make her think her mom is ghost? Because
she's crazy.
Yeah, but what does that add to the story?
I don't know.
By the way, here's a picture of Clark in The Thing. He doesn't have the long hair, but I mean, there's a similarity.
No, but the bushy beard, sure.
I'm just saying. Anyway, sorry.
But I'm also thinking, because a lot of Native American tribes in general, or specifically, I guess, up in Alaska, but they all have very strong spiritual beliefs.
Sure.
They believe that ghosts walk among them, their ancestors can guide them, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a reference to that. Maybe it's just, Inuit or Native American folklore, basically, having ghosts and spirits and all that stuff. And they talk about spirit animals leading them to conclusions and stuff. Because, they're Native American. They have their spirits. That's a big part of their culture.
Sure. But then
you have Danvers being very skeptical towards all the spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
Even asking Navarro one time, did your spirit animal show you that? Like,
no. They're making her like racist, which, comes off weird. It feels
someone
forced.
Theorized, I don't remember if it was screenwriter or think story, but maybe she's just edgy around that stuff because because something happened to her Native American husband, and it just makes her think of him, and she's just upset.
Maybe.
But that feels a little bit far-fetched.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes.
Because not everything Native American will remind you of your husband's death. Like, it should also remind you of what a good person he was when he was alive, or whatever.
Unless his culture is tied to his demise.
I was about to say that, unless that had an direct impact on his death. But
yeah, I don't know.
Again, we're speculating. We
you
are
know.
assuming. We should not have to. We should not. I mean, a little bit in the TV show, though. To be fair,
Yes.
a little bit in the TV show, you do need to speculate.
Of course,
you're not
that is part
given
of
everything
it.
at once.
And
You need to have these little cliffhangers to make you want to watch the next episode.
Yeah.
I mean,
and speaking of speculating, I'm gonna.
that's why even like Monster of the Week TV shows, they still have an overlaying like background story that makes you want to watch the next one because hey, maybe they'll get a clue for that in the next episode.
Yeah, sure. But speaking of speculating, I'm gonna do a big speculating here.
Sure.
Because
big speculating.
yeah, big speculating here. Because that is like the one thing they really hint at in this episode. Once again, kind of far-fetched here, conjecture stuff.
Sure.
But when Danvers goes to talk to the teacher in the beginning,
Yes.
once again we find out.
Who, by the way, she also had an affair with.
Another casual affair, casual partner she had, which is just a trait that feels dumb, not dumb, whatever, but that both our main protagonists have very like shallow, casual relationships with men.
Yeah.
They feel like they're
though at least
it's like they're
Navarro seems to have only one guy.
sure.
Danvers have at least two, maybe three.
And they both seem to have been married at the time, as well as she was, I think.
At least one of them, yeah. She was in a rocky relationship with her husband when she had an affair with the
Cop guy.
What did Navarro call her? Daddy Connolly?
Something like that.
The like police chief, whatever, that visits.
Who sent her up here, or promoted her up here.
And tries to take the case of Salal from her as well.
But
the teacher.
Anyway, the teacher, she asks him, like, what, you know this stuff, because, you know, he's a nerd, so he must know stuff, of course.
He's a biology teacher. Obviously he knows stuff.
Geology.
Geology.
No, but he knows that they did their main mission was to map the genome of some sort of prehistoric organism thing that is in the ice here. And he mentions that they were working on that it had like regenerative abilities to like
to stop cell degradation.
Yeah, cell decay, which basically means like healing, like video game healing,
or at least stopping, cells from dying.
Yeah. So
which I interpreted as like cancer.
He mentions cancer, yes. That it would help against cancer, it would help against dementia, it would help against a lot of stuff, because that's what bodies do. We decay. After a certain point, our bodies stop evolving and they start devolving. That's life. That's time.
Cells die.
Yeah,
we don't get new ones.
That's how you can say that time is not a flat circle, because it ends eventually, or we do.
At least for us.
At least for us, yeah. So you have that hint at like, oh, they were trying to like stop aging, basically. Stop death, stop decay.
Or at least finding that genome that has that ability.
Yeah. And then we find out that Clark had a relationship with Annie Kay. We find that out because he got the tattoo she had of the spiral on her back. He got that tattooed on his chest like a couple of days after she died 6 years ago.
Like 4 days after she died.
Yeah. And we also get hints, we don't know exactly when, but I'm guessing after that, at least, we get hints of him, acting weird. The cleaning ladies at Salal weren't allowed to go in his room. He would walk around naked. He would crying, sobbing.
Yeah.
Acting weird. And we do have hints of there was someone running around the station when the delivery guy was there in the first episode.
Yes.
And of course the constant referencing to she is awoken, or she has awakened, or whatever they say. She's awake.
Yeah.
We then find out that this trailer that Clark bought, where he had his little sex dungeon with Annie Kay, is now full of like ritualistic symbols, religious symbols, and like
there's stick figures. There's a big ass voodoo doll. There are spirals,
like an
and
effigy or something too. And we have
animal bones.
Annie K's phone is there, and we do find out that the tongue that they found in the first episode is Annie K's, which mean a 6-year-old dead tongue is still very like loose and fresh.
Yeah, sure. There's some. They mentioned that there's some structural damage.
Yeah, but it, like in the first episode, Denver says it can't be her tongue.
Strangely, it's strangely intact.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, and here's my big like how the show's maybe not the ending, but big one like, Clark took what little research they had on this organism, and because he was so in love, he was so devastated when Annie K got murdered, that he used that research on her and brought her back, but something went wrong.
Yes, it always does when you bring back people from the dead. They're not themselves.
It's Reanimator, yeah. They wake up
a shell.
And they're like sad that they got brought back to life and wants to kill everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Pet Sematary. Hate the living, love the dead. Yeah.
So you're saying that Annie K is walking around?
Yes. That's what did all this, and either she killed the scientists or it drove them mad or something, you know. Now that's very far-fetched, and if that's true, that's terrible. Because I do not want I do not want True Detective to be a fantasy show. But that is pure like spooky horror fantasy supernatural show. That could fit in the actual show Supernatural.
Nah.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
It's not supernatural enough.
I've never seen it.
That's too grounded in reality because there are, which is strange. I know. No, I'm saying that the True Detective is too grounded in reality to be part of supernatural.
Sure. Yeah, I know.
Because there's stories from all over time that there are things that can regenerate people or stop you from aging or I mean, there's the Fountain of Life, there's the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah. All of that is partially based on real finds, just not, confirmed.
Yeah. And we, of course, have, whatever his name is, what is it, Brian Johnson, who has, like, literally managed to stop his body from aging.
Who? What?
There's this guy.
Like an actual scientist?
Yeah, I think it's Brian Johnson. Yes, Brian Johnson, Bryan Johnson, Johnsson. He has, through, like, obviously, like, a lot of research and medical stuff, and then, the right kind of training, dieting, and, treating his body with different things, like lasers and stuff, has managed to basically, like, de-age his brain and body. It's interesting. I mean, it's very like it's too much. I mean, the procedures cost him like $2 million a year. But he's a billionaire, so it's fine. But he has like when they're doing like obviously like he's still aging. I mean, but when you can look at of course your brain age. People talking about brain age and your physical age. Yeah. Like you have the kidneys of an 80-year-old, although you're 40. I think he's like in his
external impact.
Yeah, he's in his mid-40s, and his organs and his brain, they're all different ages, but they range from like, I think he has a brain of like a 24-year-old, and his body is like that of a 30-year-old, or something like that. He is physically de-aging.
He has found the perfect way to keep your body in check.
However, as he said this himself, this is not something that everyone can do. It is preposterous. The point of all this research he does, though, is for him to build, like, the perfect way to do this, and then you as a regular person can pick and choose the things you can actually implement into your own life to maybe not de-age, but at least live a healthier life. That's the point.
I'm sorry, I'm reading, like, a little bit of a Vanity Fair on him. Yeah. He generally wakes up at around 4:30. Yeah. And he measures everything.
Yes,
his body
he's
fat,
the most
mass,
measured man in history.
Temperature and everything. Yeah. He recently started taking folistatin, a gene therapy that has been known to extend the lifespan of mice. He drinks a pre-workout smoothie and takes approximately 60 pills.
Yeah, a lot of supplements.
General pills, supplements and stuff. then does around 30 different exercises over the course of an hour, including using a high-frequency electromagnetic stimulation device that he says enables him to do 20,000 sit-ups in 30 minutes. You know,
Yeah, they
to your
contract
abdomen,
his muscles.
which is basically bullshit, but sure. Basically, you need to do more than just that. You can't get abs from just having electropulses on your stomach, unless you're already skinny.
No, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
By 9 a.m., he has already eaten breakfast and lunch, steamed vegetables topped with undutched dark chocolate and hemp seeds. That sounds disgusting.
He says it's tasty.
Plus aforementioned pudding, something that earlier mentioned, with a quarter of a Brazil nut.
I think I mean quarter cup.
Nut. No, a quarter of a nut.
One Brazil nut? Okay.
No, a quarter of it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Do you realize how little that is? It's a quarter
It's
of
like
a
an
nut.
almond, because Brazil nuts are big.
And he eats salads for dinners. He usually takes his dinner at 11 a.m. and followed by approximately 40 more pills.
No.
He eats dinner at 11 a.m.
Well, yeah, he fasts then between.
Oh, right, sure. And bedtime is at 8:30.
Yeah. And
so it means he typically fasts from around noon to 4:30.
And also, he doesn't drink any water or anything after a certain time, because that means his body will not have to go up. He doesn't have to wake up during the night to pee, so he can actually get a solid 8-hour block of sleeping, which is like that's actually kind of good. I've tried that,
but 100 pills.
I know that's a lot.
Doesn't sound healthy.
I've tried the whole thing, like stop at say if I go to bed at 10 p.m. I stop drinking at like 7 or 8 p.m. I mean anything, water. I don't drink, but
sure.
But it's so hard because right around bedtime, I usually get super thirsty, so it's never worked for me. And either way, sorry. Back to the thing. Yes. So yeah.
There is it's not supernatural, but it's
but this
it
is supernatural. Yeah, it's in the realm of supernatural.
Sure, it's not natural.
No, exactly. And like I said, it's a stretch. But that, I mean, all the hints, I mean, I think it points, for me at least, it points towards that. And I'm
gonna assume more that he failed, and that's why he went crazy.
Maybe, but then
that he managed to get the tongue, to kind of regenerate, but he couldn't get it to work fully.
But then, of course, you have also, I just want to say, you have the one guy who is still alive in the ice.
Yes. Lars. No. The Swedish dude.
Lund.
Whatever the fuck his name was. Lund.
Yeah.
Peter Lund or something. I don't remember.
That might be another, Clark started experimenting on the other people or something. Because how do you survive getting frozen into the ice and being gone for 3 days in the ice?
The thing is, we don't have an exact timeline for how long they were gone.
No.
Not an exact timeline.
But we know that
there are cases of people surviving several hours in the snow while others have died around them.
Yeah, but we're talking that's
Mount Everest and shit.
Hours in the snow, not naked, frozen into ice.
Yeah, I know. That's a bit extreme. I don't know. Maybe he was because he was not lodged in the center. It's not like an ant ball where they keep the warmth in the middle.
He was frozen.
Yeah.
To the point where they had to amputate a leg from I'm guessing frostbite.
Yeah. And it's weird that he started screaming when they arrived, when they brushed snow off his face.
No. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but it feels like it might be something like that. Maybe not exactly like that, but yeah. That they experimented with bringing the dead back to life.
I'm still on the trail of the water being the big culprit here. Oh. The water being fucked up by the mine, and that's being the issue. Someone mentioned that what they're mining for, the metals down there, might be toxic or supernatural or something, and has to do with the Yellow King and stuff.
What?
No, that seems very far-fetched.
That's so silly.
That's why Tuttle, whatever, were sponsoring the mine or are sponsoring the mine.
Oh, we didn't talk much about that. That's also they're making, sure, the Tuttle family in the first season Or of course this, this American dynasty basically.
Yeah.
And of course, they were involved in, child sacrifice, child, I guess, abuse and slavery,
incest and shit in general.
But then now that the Tuttle, whatever they were called, Tuttle Industries, now they're just this mega corporation, international mega corporation, involved in everything from glass to video games. It's just like, it feels like they're
Why would they be involved in churches and then mining operations?
Yeah. That's once again
so strange.
Well, it's because it's evil, because evil corporations, Google and Apple,
Sure.
It's a little. Are they like they're like commenting on, the evils of capitalism, of course, an evil, child abusing. Church thing would of course be an evil corporation as well, because capitalism is bad and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but then to theorize that they are after something specific in mind,
it's too far-fetched.
That has to do with Carcosa. Come on.
It's silly.
What, you're gonna find a portal to the netherworld or whatever?
Because then that would mean that all that was real in the first season, which that was not what the first season was about. Unless
this is just confirming that whatever we thought were Rust's visions were what he actually saw. Like that. To be fair, in the last episode of season 1, when they're fighting Mr. Tuttle, I don't remember his name, in the Castle Carcosa thing.
The maze,
Yeah, the maze, and he sees that whirlpool.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that real, or is he imagining this? Because that one looked so different from all of his other visions. It looked so tangible, almost it looked so real.
Yeah, but I mean,
compared to every other vision we've seen him had, the lights flashing or whatever. So was that it is real, but no one else saw it?
But why would they throw that in? If they're not gonna, that's kind of that fucking idiotic, overanalyzing style of storytelling. Why would they throw that in for one scene and never in the last episode, right before the end,
in the last 20 minutes,
and never discuss it? That's so dumb.
I know,
that's if you look at the greatest stories ever told, the greatest books, movies, whatever, they never end up being that literal. It's not it's literally a demon. It's literally,
no, it's usually a what's it called?
A metaphor.
Symbol.
Yeah.
Metaphor, that's the word, yeah.
That's the difference between, we've talked about this as well, the difference between plot and story. And if that stuff now in the fourth season is confirmed to be real in the first season, then you have interpreted the plot too literally in season 1, and that's not good writing if that is the case. But we have to remember that what's her name, Issa López. Before this, she was mostly known for writing soap operas. Yeah, telenovelas, Mexican soap operas. So I don't know, because they're usually pretty over the top and very extra.
It's just exaggerated in general. Yeah.
So who knows?
Either way, if the thing is, I think we mentioned this in the last episode as well. If it is supposed to be supernatural in this season, it would have been fine if they did not drag the first season into it.
Yeah.
But because they're cross-referencing and they're making connections, they're changing the course of the first season to fit their own season, which doesn't. That's not how you do it.
No, it's retconning, and that's also
it's retconning, and it's even worse when she's retconning something that she did not write.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's her interpretation. But
it's like having a tattoo artist making like an exact copy of someone else's
it's
drawing.
just bad.
They don't do that. You do their own thing. Inspired by, of course, and very similar sometimes, but they would not do an exact copy. You don't steal from other people to make your own.
No, yeah, exactly.
You can get inspired, but you don't steal.
Exactly. You don't drag that masterpiece down to your damn level.
That might be a bit harsh, but yeah, sure.
Honestly, like if I'm gonna get crass about it, that's what it is, really. Leave season 1 alone.
Yeah. I'm still not convinced that they're actually connected in anything other than the fucking spiral.
Yeah, which once again, that was just something that he painted on people. It wasn't a symbol for Carcosa. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. It was representing time. It was a thematic thing.
I'm gonna research what spiral means in different cultures and see if that can like rectify the use of the spiral in this season.
Sure.
Because maybe it's just an Inuit thing. Maybe it's just a native thing. I don't know.
Then why would they use it in Louisiana?
Because they're crazy.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
because they were actually
crazy. Yeah. We should round it off there.
We should wrap this up because we won't get anything. We won't get any further unless we see the next episode, and we'll have to wait another week for that.
So
I am gonna say though, before we do the next episode, I would recommend that you listen to Max's HBO Max's
official podcast.
Yeah,
I will. I listened to the first episode.
Try and do that before we do the next. Even though it comes out a little bit late, so it might delay our recording, but yeah.
I'll try.
Because it does help a little bit. It gives you an insight on the characters in this episode, and it gave you more of an insight on the writer and what she comes from and stuff like that.
Yeah, I will. And also, you, listening to us, should check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Where you can get there's extra episodes of this show, or at least one.
Yes.
Our infamous first episode,
Lost
Pilot.
Pilot.
Which was so angry and hateful that we couldn't put it out. Yeah. It was about the first episode of She-Hulk, if that gives you any hints. But no, there's extra episodes of the spoiler cast. There's early access to episodes. There's a bunch of stuff you can check out there, and also you would be supporting us in a great way,
and we would be very grateful.
Very grateful. So check us out there, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Other than that, check out the channel. Check us out. Check out the spoiler cast if you haven't, and we'll be back in the next episode. Yeah. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.